We all have bad days, and sometimes those bad days turns into bad weeks and bad months. And at some point in time, we start considering our options and we need to make a decision. Should we stay or should we move on to another position? Let's talk about it. Making the decision to quit your job is something that should not be taken lightly by any means. It's something that's serious and that you need to sit down and think about before you make that final decision. But I can understand once you've had enough is enough, make sure you think things out before you pull that final trigger to leave your job. I really hate to hear the stories of people leaving their jobs because of a spur of the moment decision or something that happened and they just walked away. This is not good because it's not well thought out. But I can understand that there are legitimate reasons why you may want to make that decision to leave the job. One of those reasons may be unethical or unfair treatment. That is something that is worthy of considering leaving the job. Once you've informed the proper people about the unfair or unethical treatment, this is something that is within your rights as an employee. You should not be treated like this, and if it's something that can't be resolved, you may need to either move on to a different position or leave the company totally. Once they've been given the information that they need to do whatever kind of investigations that they need to do, you need to be satisfied in this area. You don't want to continue to go to a company that you don't feel like you're being treated fairly there. So it may be time to cut the cord and quit. At some point in time, if you get moved around a lot in your company, you're going to be put up under someone that you may have some type of personality clash with. And sometimes you can muddle through that for the couple of months or maybe a year that you'll be under that person. But if it goes on longer than that and it's just a huge clash, go to the manager above them and talk to them about the situation. And if you can't be moved, this may be another reason to go ahead and quit the job. While working up under a manager like this is not the ideal situation to be in, but if there are issues such as lack of support or retaliation, that's serious enough where you want to consider other options and either, like I said, get from up under this person or leave the company. Now, don't quit my channel, but hit that like button and that subscribe button so that you can be kept up to date on the latest information as it becomes available to you. Some companies over the last couple of years have had to shift some things that the way they look at certain things and maybe their goals and even sometimes their direction. And if this is the case and you feel like you and the company are growing in opposite directions, this may be a time to consider other options. It's very rare situations these days that people stay at companies for 20, 30 years. They normally move around quite a bit. And this may be your opportunity if you see another company that you may be interested in to go ahead and make that new fresh start somewhere else, especially if you don't want to go in the direction that your company is going in. With falling sales and losing customers, you can see the writing on the wall, and now may be the time to go ahead and start looking somewhere else for a different job. Your company may be going down if they're not replacing people, if they're not hiring, if they're right sizing, if they're closing offices. The writing is probably on the wall, and now it's time for you to take action to secure your spot somewhere else, and so your income won't go down, but it will continue to flow into your household. Now, we've discussed some legitimate reasons why you may want to quit the job or move on somewhere else, but it is a serious thing and a serious decision to make. So make sure you've exhausted all your avenues, done what you could if you wanted to give yourself a fair chance to stay there. And if you've done all of that, it's time to go. Now let's discuss a few tips to prepare yourself before you walk out that door. First, you want your finances to be in order. You want to pay down as many bills as you possibly can and have a savings set aside, because if you don't have a job to walk into, you may be a few months before you find something, and you want some type of security fund to keep you afloat while you're still looking for that ideal job. Next, you want your resume and your interviewing skills to be up to par. So make sure you look at those and you can hire a resume writer even, and do some mock interviews with the positions that you may be interested in. But you want that to be up to par to shorten that amount of time from the time that you leave the one job to the time that you find your other position. You also want to make sure you've prepared your mind for this move. You don't know how long it may take, but it is leaving one. It's kind of like a death of one job and the birth of something else. So it's going to be something that you have to get used to, that you're not going to that job that you're used to going to every day. There's going to be a change and a shift and maybe a new learning curve, but make sure you're mentally prepared for this. This goes without saying, but your household should be supportive of your decision. It shouldn't be a haphazard decision that you've just made and surprised everyone at home. Hey, I quit my job and I'm going to start looking for a new one. Is not a good idea, not a good look when you come home to a family. Hopefully you'll have the opportunity to give this some serious thought before you have to make this decision. It is a critical decision. It's a new move and it's something not to be taken lightly. But if you need to leave a company, don't be afraid. It's something that you need to do. Life will be better if you do it, especially if it's something that's wearing on your health at this point in time. So make that decision. Go back through the video and learn the things that you may want to consider before you make that serious decision. But if it's time to quit, it's time to go.